Welcome everybody. We're continuing on how to read technical charts, and today we had another fantastic learning session. And one of the questions that people keep asking is, what are those red and green things that we see on a technical chart? And well, those are candles or candlesticks. And today we're going to learn how to learn and use these candlesticks. But before we start this video, I just want to remind you, if you are here for the first time, please remember to subscribe. Hit that subscribe button on this YouTube channel, and we will continue to put up new videos. Please do follow us, and let's continue to watch this video to the full, because you're going to get a lot of good details and information from this. All right. Okay, so today we're going to talk about candlestick patterns. All right. This is a method that was invented or originated in Japan, and it is used to read the technical price charts that we see for shares. Okay, it shows us four key things. One is the opening price of the share for that period, the highest point or the highest price for that period of that share, the lowest price or the lowest price point for that share in that period, and finally the close. Okay, so you have the open, you have the high and the low, and you have the close. Four things that you can read from a candle. What is different from the normal lines that you see on a share on a technical charts is that the line does not give you the story behind the journey of the share during that time frame, whereas it just connects the dots, right? Whereas the candle would give you the story, or you would be able to understand what was the journey the share did in that time frame using a candle. Okay, all right. So we have two types of candles. Okay, one is the red candle, the green candle. It could be black or white. Okay, but basically the red one is where the closing price is lower than the opening price. The green one is where the opening price is or the closing price is higher than the opening price. Okay, those are the basic differences. Now I want you to know, even though that these are called bullish and bearish candles, sometimes it just mentions it does not give you the trend of the share. It's just that at that point, the price has increased in a bullish candle, and in the bearish candle, the price has decreased. It does not give us a trend. All right. We only learn the trend by using a pattern of these candles. All right. And so in these candles, you can see there's four things here. We have the body. The body is basically the difference between the opening and the closing. And then we have the upper shadow or the wick and the lower shadow or the tail. And together this forms the candle. Okay, so we have four things here. The candle itself, its body, and its upper wick and its lower wick. So four things. Okay. Now we got to know what the color basically denotes that the price has closed higher or lower than the opening price. Okay. The body denotes who is in control. If, for example, if the price opens at 500 and goes up to 550, that means there were more buyers than sellers because the price increased. Okay, so that is why it's green. Or the size of the body would denote how many people. If the size of the body is large, that means a lot of buyers were there. Okay. The wick and the shadow denotes price rejection. And people ask about what is price rejection. Basically, suppose a share opens at 500 and it goes down to 450. And at that point, all the buyers decide, hey, we don't want this share to remain at 450. We're going to push the price up. And so they reject the price of 450 and they push it back up. That's when you get a lower wick, which is a price rejection at the lower level. Suppose the share opens at 500 and it starts going up to say 550, and at that point the sellers decide, hey, we don't want the price to be at 550, we want to push it down. And so a lot more sellers come in and they push the price down. You have a price rejection at the higher point, and that is why it goes back down. And so the upper wick is formed by price rejection from the top, the lower wick is formed by a price rejection from the bottom. All right. Now, a few things. If the body is very larger than the wick, that means there's a strong level of buyer or seller. In this case, a green candle, a strong level of buyers, a weak rejection price by the sellers. The likely trend is that it is bullish. All right. If there is no wick or shadow at all, this is highly bullish. It's just going straight up. Okay. Suppose you have a huge shadow and a small body. This basically means that there was a very high price rejection at the bottom and a lot of buyers are in control, and this means that the trend is probably highly bullish. If the wick is larger than the body, this is probably because the price rejection at the top was high, and even though the candle looks green, it probably is a bearish pattern because there has been a price rejection from the top and the sellers have the momentum. And suppose there is price rejection from the top and the bottom, and the body is a small body, this means that we are entering a phase of indecision, or in that time period, there was a bit of equilibrium between the buyers and the sellers, and nobody's everybody's trying to figure out where the share has to go. Correct. And similarly for on the bearish or the reddish candle side, if the body is very larger, that means it's bearish. If there is no wick or shadow, it means very highly bearish. If the wick is the upper wick is very larger than the body, that means it is a highly bearish pattern. It went up and then it was brought down by the sellers. They have the momentum. And in the reversal trend, you see a red candle with a lower wick that is very larger than the body. This means that it went down, and then the buyers actually have started to bring the price up. Even though the closing price is lower than the opening price, the buyers actually have the momentum. It's probably a bullish reversal trend, even though the candle's color is red. So the color does not necessarily give you the trend of the share. It just denotes whether the closing price was higher or lower than the opening price. Okay. And so the candlestick shows who's in control. So we need to pay attention to the size of the body, the size of the wick, and the relative size of both of these things. Okay. Now, how do we use these candlesticks? We got to understand we cannot use them in isolation. We got to use them as themes or patterns. Okay. And so, for example, you have the engulfing pattern both on the bullish and the bearish side, that the second candle is larger than the first candle and basically engulfs the first candle. And this gives us a trend. If the first candle is red, the second candle is larger green, it is a bullish trend. If it's the other way around, it is a bearish trend. It's a bearish engulfing trend. Okay. Then we have something called the hammer. The hammer is basically where there was a huge price rejection from the bottom, and actually the buyers have the momentum. Even if the candle is red or green, it doesn't make a difference. This is probably showing a highly bullish pattern being formed. Okay. A shooting star, on the other hand, is the opposite, where you have a price rejection from the top. That means there's a huge momentum by the sellers. Even if the candle might be red or green, it actually indicates that there is a bearish pattern to this. All right. Then we have the dragonfly doji, similar to the hammer. Basically, again, it's just that there's a smaller body, but there is good momentum by the buyers. Price rejection from the bottom, it probably indicates a buying momentum. All right. And there is the gravestone doji, which basically is price rejection from the top, and a lot of sellers in the pushing the price down. That means that despite the color of the candle, it is probably going to be a bearish momentum. Then we have something called the morning star. This usually indicates the reversal from a selling or a bearish trend on the share to a buying or a bullish trend on the share. Okay, this is basically where you have a pattern of red candles and suddenly there's an indecision, and then you switch to green candles, which indicates there's a reversal of the trend, and that is the morning star. There is the opposite of this, which is the evening star, where you have a bullish trend turning into a bearish trend. Again, then you see a bunch of green candles followed by an indecision candle. It can be green or red, and then you have the next red candle probably ending up in a bearish pattern. Then we have something called the tweezer bottom and the tweezer top. The tweezer bottom is basically where there's two candles, both of them have a lot of price rejection from the bottom, and probably it came in as red and then the next candle is going green. It is a reversal, bullish reversal trend again, where the trend is turning from bearish to bullish. And finally, there's the tweezer top, where you see that the green candle had a huge rejection from the top, and the next candle again has a huge rejection from the top, and it closed lower, which meant that the bullish trend has probably turned into a bearish trend. All right. And so if you have any questions about these candles, please do remember to ask us in the comment box. Do like and share this video, and do ask any questions, doubts, or opinions that you have. Put it down in the comment box. We would love to answer back, and want to thank you once again, remind you to like and share this channel as well. God bless you all.